Hello, everyone. You're listening to the Small Business Show. I'm your host, Swire Ho, the promo guy. Today, I have Megan Abarta. She's an Instagram strategist. What Megan does is she helps overwhelmed business owners to create a stress-free Instagram strategy so they can generate leads and grow the network in less time. Megan's best offer is a VIP day that consists of creating and implementing your Instagram strategy, and it's completed just one day. I'm going to ask her more about that. If you're spending months or hours trying to figure out a strategy that worked best for you, or hire someone but it didn't work, this is an episode for you. How you doing, Megan?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, good. Would you mind to tell us a little bit more about how you can help people in just one day? Sometimes I think we know that Instagram works, and there's a lot of people using that. So, but then sometimes we don't associate business on Instagram. What do you think?
Yeah, so basically, what I help my clients do is figure out the best way to promote their business on Instagram. So that really starts with setting your goals on Instagram. So this could be very different from business to business, but generally, once you set your main couple of goals and what you want to get out of Instagram, whether that's more leads, whether it's creating more of a community for your business with your clients, whether it's just promoting your new product or service, setting those goals and then working backwards is what I help them do. So, this is as little as what hashtags to use to what types of content to post on what days. So, I really go through it all. And that's how I really help people grow their business using the tool of Instagram.
Okay, let's talk about Instagram for business use. I have a personal account, and also we have a business account for Garuda promo. So, would you suggest listener to have different accounts, or should they use their personal account to post work things and personal things?
Yeah, this is a really good question. So, a lot of people they already have their personal account and they're starting their business, and they're like, "Oh, should I even, start fresh for my business, or should I use the followers I already have?" I suggest starting a brand new page for your Instagram or for your business account. This is because the followers you have on your personal account aren't necessarily going to be interested in your business, and you really want to grow a community on your business Instagram with followers that are potential clients. So having like your mom and your best friend follow you are great, but really you want to find those people that are actually going to buy your products and use your services. So starting fresh and also keeping that boundary between your personal life and business life can make a big difference in getting burnt out and just setting general boundaries in your business in general.
Well, I want to go deeper if if you don't mind. So,
Yeah.
and use me as an example, right? So no one has that besides me, I'm sure. Uh, in my personal account, so sometimes I post picture of my cat. I went camping and people engage with that. But sometimes there are something that we're really proud of at work, and we try to post that, and the engagement was not as great as what we hope to achieve. So with your suggestion saying you should separate the followers from your personal and business account, how can we use Instagram to our advantage in business?
Yeah. So, one of the biggest mistakes I see is businesses only promoting their business with their business account. While that sounds like exactly what you need to do, your promotional posts really shouldn't be the majority of what you're posting on your business account. So, I would say the majority should consist of educational content. So, you want to teach your clients, potential clients, and your audience on Instagram what you do, why you're doing it, how you could help them, how they can sign up to work with you. And by doing this, it makes it a lot easier for people to actually want to work with you. They know exactly how to. It also brings more people to your account because you're providing value to them. So if you're educating them in something, they feel like they already won by finding your profile. They're more likely to follow you and keep following you. And then you can warm them up with your promotional content once they're already there. But that educational piece is what really draws people in. And that's how you can get more followers on your business account.
Well, that's the challenging part. And I
Mhm.
think, a lot of us has this question, sh- showing ourselves in the video content. I know it's picture heavy. People like their influencer. They really look good. Anything that they do, it looks, splashing. And, but for some of us who might not look like an influencer, should we show ourselves in the video content and the posts?
Definitely. And while you might not have the influencer look or the influencer style about you or anything, this is what builds trust between you and your potential client. So if they can see the face behind the business, that makes the biggest difference and also shows credibility and relatability. If they can relate to you on a personal level, they're much more likely to want to work with you. Um, and then while it might be time consuming to create this video content, sometimes it takes me like way more takes than it should to create that perfect video to post on social media, but it reaches so many more people because video content is really being pushed on Instagram right now that it's definitely worth the time you're putting in. So you definitely want to make sure to attempt video content if you have not already.
Okay. Any tips that you can share of, getting, obviously, the better, the quality of the picture and the production, but the better. But for some of us who are starting out, what are some of the general guidelines that you would suggest?
Yeah, definitely. So, I say lighting is everything. If you can get near either a ring light that you can get super cheap off Amazon or even just buy a window to use natural lighting, that will just make you feel 100 times more confident and your audience will see that coming through in your video. Another one is angles. If you have like a nice angle that shows like your upper body and you can talk professionally and feel comfortable and confident, that makes a big difference besides just holding your phone super close to your face. Another thing you can do is make sure and just, crop your videos so that way it's only when you're talking. So if you're setting up your phone and then you press record and you have like an awkward time before and after you're speaking, that it doesn't look very good and doesn't look very professional. So make sure to edit and crop those videos so that way it's like to the point and people are really getting what you're trying to say.
Okay. So I think you probably get this asked a lot. How often should I post on Instagram for business?
Yeah. So, this really depends on how much time you have, first of all, how much help you have, and also what industry you're in. Some people should be posting every single day just to keep top of mind, and other people can post once a week and get away with it. It also depends on how you get your clients. So, if Instagram is your main way of getting clients, then you should be posting more often. But if word of mouth is how you get more clients, then Instagram can just be a way to, keep that community on Instagram with your current and past clients. So I recommend setting the amount of time you have per week and then figuring out how long it takes you to make each post and then putting that together. So let's say you have 2 hours a week that you can dedicate to creating content and it takes you 30 minutes to make each post. That means you can make 4 posts a week. And if that's realistic for you, then that's perfect. The worst thing you can do is say, "Oh, I'm going to make 10 posts a week," but you only have time to make 4. And that way you can't stay consistent and you're always feeling like you're getting burnt out because you can't reach those goals. So set something realistic for you and stick to it because consistency is key on Instagram.
Okay. How would you suggest, when a business only because we only have certain time available for doing social media, how would you balance the time that we spend on, let's say, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and then Instagram? I'm sure that there are other social media platforms out there. What would you suggest, that how do we spend our time?
Yeah, so I recommend choosing 2 platforms that you're really going to commit your time to. So, yes, you can be on a lot of platforms, but maybe some of them you're just keeping your profile updated enough to where you're just present on those, and while the other 2 that you chose, you're being very active on. So, you want to, set limits for yourself on those apps. So, let's say you're going to do 45 minutes a day on all platforms or something, then you need to pick how you're going to divvy up that time. So the two platforms that you're really spending a lot of time on, maybe you spend 15 minutes on each, and then the rest of the platforms get just 5 minutes, and you just stick to that. And that way, it's kind of harder for you to just lose track of time. Sometimes you can scroll through Instagram or Facebook for hours, and that's not really going to help you at all. You really want to set a time. You can even set a timer on your phone, or there's app limits. You can set limits on the apps and how long you spend on them, and then go into the app with intentions of what you're going to do and get them done, whether that's commenting on 5 different posts or following 5 new people. Once you get that done, then just move on to the next platform so you don't get distracted by other people's content, and you can save a lot of time that way.
Well, I think even in one app, Instagram alone, there are a lot of things that you can do. So I wanted to ask your advice. So you mentioned commenting and following new people that potentially could be your client, but we also have posts that we can do. We also have videos that we can post, or we can even go live and other things that we do. So how would you suggest, and or is it depends on the type of business that you're in?
Yeah, so I say that every type of business can benefit from video content, and you definitely want to do this as often as you can. But things like going live and posting those longer videos that you can do a little less frequently. I still recommend all business types try this, play around with it. You can go live with a business partner, you can go live with a past client and make it kind of like a testimonial that's live and everyone can see. You can also just go on with someone who's in your industry but isn't direct competition with you. And that way both of you guys benefit from having both of your audiences on that live. And that way you will see a lot more engagement and interaction happening from it.
I really like that. So wanted to ask you a question. So you mentioned that uh, Instagram is powerful. You can reach a lot of people around the world. But then, when I see word of mouth marketing, that means that someone who knows you, who trusts you, and really would promote you. How would you say the difference are? Are they coexist, or do you think one is better than the other?
Yeah, again, I think it depends on your industry whether one is better than the other. For example, I have a client who is a real estate agent, and he asked me, all of my clients come from word of mouth, literally all of them. So why would I benefit from Instagram? And I was like, that's a really good question. And the answer is that Instagram can be used in a lot of different ways. So if you're not getting any clients from Instagram, you can still benefit from being active on there. So let's say that they got a word of mouth client. Their friend told their friend to use them as a real estate agent. What they're going to do when they go home that night is they're going to look them up on social media to see if they're, reputable and selling the kinds of homes they want, to see if their clients are happy, things like that. So if you're present on these platforms, it's like an online portfolio that's always available to everyone. So it really just is that second touch point you get with your potential clients and really proving to them that you are who you say you are and you have proof of it.
Yeah, I think that that's true. Because the first thing that I would do after any conversation in business is I'm going to Google the person's name and the company. I'll look them up. So the more that I see that they're posting and learn more about their company, the more I kind of build my trust, at least virtually, on that business. Because imagine now, and nowadays, if you look up someone or a company, they have nothing online, then you wonder, are they really a legitimate company, or it probably won't look as good as a company who has a profile at least on several places, and then you can really see what they are about. And maybe, like you said, if they're providing educational information, you can actually learn more about that company than the initial conversation that you had.
Yeah, exactly.
So what would you suggest? We talk about the different platform, and then the different methods that we could potentially do on Instagram. For example, if I just started, building out my business profile on Instagram, how would you suggest that we start? And I mean, are there any more tips that we could cover for the listeners?
Yeah, so if you're just starting out, I would say the first thing you really need to do is introduce yourself to your audience. So your first post could be a professional headshot, or it could be your logo. And then in the caption, just really put, like three fun facts about you. This can be completely personal, not even about business, but this is just a way for you to initially connect with your audience and really just invite people to follow you. If they see what you're about and what you're doing, then they're more likely to be like, okay, I could use this service or this product and I'll follow them. And then from there, you want to really post educational content to show you are who you say you are and you know what you know. So, yeah, I would start with the introduction and then go into educational content, and then you can do promotional content.
Mm. I like that. Especially you mentioned a real estate professional before.
Mhm.
I think people should understand that not all people can be a client. So I think by way you can actually filter that is actually you talk in front of a camera. The tone of your voice, how you speak, are could resonate with some people, but there are some clients who might not want to do that. So you can actually help yourself in the video. So people are drawn to your energy. People like how you talk. So I think that's actually a good way to attract the type of customer that likes to work with you.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So what you're saying, it's not about Instagram versus word of mouth. You can actually combine them together, to your own advantage.
Yeah, definitely. I think word of mouth is a great way to find clients. It's always nice to have someone come to you saying, so and so told me about what you do, and I love them. So I must love you now too? So that's always great. But I think it's also awesome to have social media working behind the scenes for you. The things you're posting, people see them and people will reach out when they're ready. And you're just building trust without really having to talk to them at all? So you're posting, they see that, they're building trust, and eventually they could become a client. So I think it's awesome to do both.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you a little bit more about the consistent message on social media. So I think that the challenge a lot of small business facing are, they have a content, or they have an event or something that, they wanted to share on social media, but then they have to come up with a lot of different style, I would say, so you're posting something on LinkedIn, it's more professional, you're posting it on Facebook and you're posting it on Instagram. How do you suggest that we keep it consistent? And obviously you can just copy and paste, the same message on different platforms. So then it makes it tricky, right? You have to come up with 5 or 6 or however many styles to put on each platform. What would you suggest?
Yeah, so I would say you want to start with get a couple of ideas down on paper, and these could be content ideas, pretty general. And then you want to break each one of them down as far as you can. So if you have a topic that's like marketing, you break it down to Instagram, Facebook, Google, break it down even more. Instagram could be feed posts, reels, lives, and then even more, you could talk about like what to caption on your feed post, what location to put on your feed post, and what hashtags to use. So really break every topic you have down all the way, and then from there create content, and then make it so it's content that you can slightly change the messaging of. So once you break down all of your content ideas, then you can create an Instagram post from like a graphic that you make. And then you can also just resize that graphic to post on the Facebook. And then you can use the same Instagram graphic on LinkedIn, but then slightly change the messaging because it's more of a corporate feel when you'll get less engagement on that platform. And then just take the bottom line message from that Instagram post and put it to Twitter. So really just taking the same idea that you broke down and then tweaking it for each different platform. So you have the same piece of content and you're just repurposing it. This is a great way to make a lot of content is taking the big ideas and breaking them all the way down. And then the really just like nitty gritty is going to be putting it to different platforms. But that's how I would say to start doing it and then see what works for you.
Yeah, one of the way that I think I've done and having success on this, I write down all the questions that when people call me, what kind of questions do they ask me? So I put together like five most frequently asked question, and I actually go on social media and we answer those questions because if enough people ask me about this question, I'm sure that there are many out there who are trying to find out the answer. So I think if uh, if you're wondering what to post, I think that's another, most frequent question. Like, what do I do? Like, what do I post? Um, Answer questions, right? So, whatever the question that comes up the most in your daily professional life, answer them on social media, either by a post format in a picture, or you can go on video, to answer that question. And even you can ask yourself your own questions, and then you answer it. Would you suggest something that if people are wondering what to post on their social media?
Yeah, definitely. And there's a lot of different ways you can gather these questions. For example, if you're using Instagram, you can post a story and use the little questions box that they provide on there. And you can just say, what are you curious about my industry? You can also make it more specific, but then all your followers have opportunities to ask you any question they want. And then you can use those questions to create your content. So that's just another way to get questions if you're running out of content ideas. So, yeah, that's definitely a great point.
Okay. So I wanted to go back, in the bio, I read that, you actually create a course that you teach business professional how to use Instagram in just one day. How does that work? And, it's so overwhelmed for a lot of us. So what are the process that how do you show them to make it work for them in one day?
Yeah, so basically, someone reaches out saying that they need their Instagram strategy right away. They don't have time to wait. So I send them some pre work questions where they fill out their goals, what they've been doing that hasn't been working, what they want to be doing, what days they're mostly free, and then the types of content they make that works best for their industry. From all that information, I create their strategy and I also implement it for them in Airtable, which is a software that's really awesome. It's like Google Sheets on steroids, really. And you can put all your information on it. And it's really nice. You can put it in calendar view. There's a whole other thing we could talk about with Airtable, but basically, I implement their strategy on there. And this is from everything from what they should be posting, when, how, campaign strategies, hashtags, and keywords. They can ask me any questions on the day, but basically, they come on the call. I walk them through everything. I have a workbook that they fill out, they can keep afterwards. And then they literally have their entire strategy by the time we're done with the call. And then afterwards, they have 2 weeks of support with me. And then they're on their way and they have an awesome Instagram strategy. So it's really fun. And they can also bring an on team marketer with them. So I can teach both of them. So they're not doing all the work themselves. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds interesting, because I for one, I overwhelmed because there's so many things that you can do. They're time consuming, right? You want to do it right, you want to do it professional, then you are, you know, after a while, then you're spending hours, just to create
Yeah.
something that, worthwhile for your business. So for listener who wanted to reach out to you to find out more about what you do, what would be the best way?
Yeah, email is always great. You can also reach out to me on Instagram. You can DM me and I'll respond. But yeah, those two are definitely great. You can also look at my website and there's a way to contact me through there.
Okay. Thank you so much, Megan. I'll definitely include all the information on the show notes here. And then thank you so much for your wonderful information.
Thank you so much for having me today.